Welcome to another video from Auto Garage Life, and today we're going to be installing some new little bits and pieces that I've purchased for the 2013 Mustang. We've got a custom made cover for this bit here, the centre console storage unit at the back, and we've also the custom made cover for the handbrake, parking brake boot or gator that's sitting right there. And we're going to be installing these 2 minutes. It shouldn't take that long at all. And we'll do some before and after shots, and I'll leave a link in the description down below of where I purchased these from, a company called redlinegoods.com. I bought loads of stuff from them for my cars, and they custom make everything: steering wheel covers, parking brake boots. If you've got a manual transmission, they do a boot for that as well. Covers for the headrests, covers for the centre console. They do lots of cool stuff for Mustangs, so check them out if you're wanting to see what you can get custom made. Any colour you want, leather, piping, blah blah blah. Not sponsored by them, just saying they're a good company. So let's see some before and after shots here, and let's get cracking with this installation. Right, so the before is just obviously the plain black leather shift boot for the parking brake lever, and mine's actually a little bit worse for wear, which kind of prompted me to get a new one here. And we've also got the cover that goes over the top of this centre console armrest or centre console storage unit that Redline Goods do as a custom made cover. You can choose what thickness you want of padding, choose your leather colour, choose piping colours, anything you want really, they'll do it. So let's go and see what I've bought. So this is the parking brake cover. As you can see, it's got an elasticated bit there like the stock ones do, so you can just slide it over the existing lever. And this all gets clipped in. You can see they've cut notches for it to where you actually would kind of secure it down, and it's lovely red leather to match the rest of the interior of the car that I'm doing here. So got that, and this one is the custom cover for the center console unit. You can see how it kind of is shaped there, the same as the chrome button there to leave a space for that. And I got this one with some extra thick padding as well. And you can see there as well, this is all cut to size, it all cuts to trim, and you can just clip it all in using the center console trim cover that's underneath the top of it there. So these are all excellent. I just didn't want any piping or anything like that. I just wanted plain red leather with red stitching, but they'll even do different colours of stitching for you if you want. And it saves me having to faff about trying to make them my own because they don't cost too much at all. So let's crack on and let's get that installed. Let's go for the center console cover first. Alright, so to get this center console top off, lift it up, open it up, and you'll see 4 bolts there, you see them? And we simply take them out, and they are a little bit of an awkward size. They're 732s. It's not a 6mm, it's not a 7mm, it's something in between. So we'll take them out and remove the whole cover, make life easier for us. Okay, when they're removed, this should just all lift out. There we are, nice and easy. Let's take this over to the bench. Alright, now we have 4 screws we can take off to get this bracket off, or we can just take the whole panel off using these 4 screws here. We'll go for these first, because that just takes the whole thing off. Although I've never done this before, there is a bit of a difference between this and the old Mustangs. I'll take these 4 out as well. Take the bracket off. There we are, card holder and a pen holder. Didn't even know they were there. Right, so I'm just test fitting this cover, and this bit here that goes round the latch needs to tuck in behind it, so you can remove the actual latch with these screws here. So let's do that, because it will just make the install go that little bit smoother. So there's 3 screws holding this latch in. To remember where all these screws go, because I think they're all slightly different. Just comes off and leaves you with a nice shape to deal with. Right, so we'll just test fit this now. See if we can get it on properly. Right, so manhandled that on. It just pushes in, and Redline do actually give you instructions how to do this, and they do suggest that you can glue this down if you want to. I'm not going to do that because I may change colour in future, I don't know yet, but we'll fit it as good as we can the way it is, and we'll see. And if you wanted a permanent fixture, you could just glue the foam on top of the panel. You can see now that the bit that we cut fits a lot neater. This will stretch out over time once we put it on. The wrinkles will come out. And I know this because I've had these before, that it fits perfectly in the bit where the latch is going to go and over the back, and I've got it nice and tight round here. So once we fit our cover back on, it'll pull all this round and we'll click it back in and screw the screws back in. It should tighten it all up. Okay. Right, we'll put the latch back on. Before we do that, I'm going to give this a clean and a squirt of WD-40 because it does stick a little bit when you're using it, so we'll give it a wee clean first of all. Alright, well that went on with a little bit of a struggle, so I had to do a little bit of trimming around this area here because there was just too much material. And what was happening was, when I was pressing this button to release the catch, it wasn't pushing back up, it was just getting caught on all this material. So I trimmed a little bit off of that edge and stuffed it down here with my trim tool, and then tightened up the 3 screws on the latch. Because when I put it on, as it was out of the box, this button wasn't doing that, it was just basically stuck down. Right, so let's go and put the bottom plate on and see if we can tighten this whole thing up. Alright, so I don't really want to glue this on just now, just in case I change my mind. So what I've done is I've got some 3M adhesive tape, and I've just cut some very thin strips and put it along the edge of the trim itself, so that when I fold this over, it has something to stick to whilst I screw on the cap, because I'm finding it difficult to put the cap on with these still staying in place. So this tape should help that, and I can still remove it if I don't want to keep this cover on eventually. Okay. Well, that's it on, and a wee bit bumfled there, but I'm sure that'll straighten itself out over time. It did with my last one that I had, my last S197, so not too fussed. But the bit that I was really troubled with was this button here. As I said, I had to trim a little bit off that, and I'm still to tidy up the bottom here. But essentially, it looks pretty neat if I can get it all looking like that and tucked in behind the plastic. But really, it doesn't really matter because this bit's not going to be seen anyway. It's tucked in at the back here, bit to do there. And we'll straighten this up as best we can. I might end up just gluing this on because it won't take much to scrape the glue off, really. I'll tuck this ear in here. But overall, that's pretty good. When you see it in the car, you'll be sitting like that, so it's pretty decent, and it will eventually conform to the shape. But overall, that's pretty good. So I think I'll test fit it on the car just now, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, so that's fitted, and as you can see, when it's closed, it looks pretty damn good. So still see the button there. In the back, it looks pretty darn good. When I was fitting at this panel here, it popped off, just put it back into place. And there's no signs of it being anything less than factory from here. And as I'll just show you, when I open it, it's not too stiff. I actually thought it would be a lot stiffer than it would be, but it's not. And it's sitting out in the sun and all the rest of it, it might even be better. So the only thing is, I'll need to tidy up the bottom bit if I really want to. I might just glue all this down here, because it is a wee bit rough around the edges when you've got it open. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm just going to glue it on to the edges that wouldn't quite tuck in properly, and that way it won't have these bumpy bits at the corners. But when it's closed, you don't notice it at all. And it looks extremely comfortable for my elbow, which will make a long drive that little bit better. So I'm very happy with that. So there we are, and it's from the front. As you can see, it does look pretty factory when it's there. Just these wee bits are a wee bit bumfled. I might just hit them with a heat gun and stretch them out a wee bit, or just wait and see how it goes over time. But generally, that's a great fit from Redline, and I'll go on and now do the gaiter for this handbrake. But that is excellent. I'm pretty happy with that. Now on to the parking brake gaiter. So to remove that, you need to remove this centre console piece of trim here, which you can do by opening up the console like so, and then lifting up on this piece of trim, and the whole thing just comes out in a winner. There we are. Before you do that, I forgot to do this, remove this bezel if you've got an automatic transmission like I do, because this will want to come out at the same time. You can do all this by hand, no tools for this part. Sticking it, the gear stick into neutral. Because it gives you a little bit more room. Yeah, I should have done that before, shouldn't I? Right, so a couple of things to disconnect here. You can disconnect the lights for your cup holders here, and you can disconnect your hazard warning switch here. There we go. And then there's another cable there, but we've got plenty of room here just to flip this over and leave it like that. Now, this gaiter is held in by some clips here. I'm just squeezing it in on either side, and it's got the elastic band bit here at the front, which you can push over the handbrake lever itself to remove it. Remember the old S197 was a big plastic cover here. They didn't have leather as standard on the old ones. I of course replaced my old one with leather. Now you could have maybe got that off without removing that centre trim in hindsight, but there's a couple more things I want to do when I'm in here anyway. My trunk release button's not working, so I'm going to take that button off and see if I can repair it before I have to splurge out for a new one. And I wanted to try and look at the back of this radio as well and see if I can get my reversing camera installed. So anyway, it's 2 seconds to take the trim off, it's no big deal. Okay, so let's take this over to the workbench and see what we're dealing with here. Alright, so it looks as if this is just glued on, or it's been press fitted onto this plastic. It doesn't look as if there's anything clip wise holding it on, so just be a case of going round this with a fine knife and breaking that seal and just peeling it off one at a time. I don't think I'm going to be able to save this in case I want to save it, because it's going to wreck the bottom of it here like that, but I don't really want to save it anyway, so let's crack on. We'll just remove this and see how we go on. Alright, so I've just test fitted this again, holding it down with some temporary clamps, and as usual, Redline Goods have got their templates perfect. This fits perfectly along each of the seams that the original one did, and I think I'm not going to get away without gluing this one on like I did with the other cover. I think I'm going to have to glue this one on just like the original factory one was. But yeah, what perfect fit, absolutely perfect fit. And I'll just go and glue that on just now, and we'll stick it on back onto the gear lever. Alright, so I'm just going to start gluing this on, just a bit at a time, and we'll use these clamps just to hold it in and make sure the glue takes. We'll start at this bit at the front. work our way back. I've tried to scrape quite a bit of that excess residue off, and I've got most of the big chunky bits off, but really the time it's going to take to go through all of that and make it absolutely perfect is not worth it. The glue will still take, I'm pretty certain of that, so we'll just crack on with it the way it is. Spare horsey. There we go. Yeah, it's been a while since I've used that glue gun. Kind of forget that this happens after it. If you just leave it lying. Whoops. Da well. Can't do this without doing a spot of cleaning in here. Not too bad. I have had this out recently, so putting this back on just the same. And just pop this over and make sure the elastic bit there goes over this and snugly fits into that bit there. So let's get this down. And you'll see the clips in here, no problem. For clipping this back in, it's just plastic clips, just these just push straight into there and they clip in with these. Easy peasy. There we are. That looks pretty good. Back to being brand new again. Now I just need to give this a nice leather condition to make it shiny again. Bring it back to the way it should look in terms of black, so we can do that. But that is pretty good. As you can see, it's a perfect fit. Perfect fit from the factory. Perfect fit, just like the factory ones. Excellent. There we go, fully fitted and matching the center console armrest cover, and we're slowly getting this interior to where I'd like it to be. I want to do the door cards in red, debating whether to just dye them or whether to try and source some new ones that are pleated like that in red. Don't know yet. I think I might leave the seats black for now because red might just be too much, but I don't know about the rear, might just leave them. But anyway, it's looking pretty good. Right, that's going to wrap us up for another video. And yeah, I'm starting to be happy with this interior more so than I was when I first got the car, so we're getting there with it. It's pretty good. So personal taste down at the end of the day, don't like it, don't do it, it's no problem. But Redline Goods have come through for that and that. And less than £100 I think I spent on it, 80 something in total for the two of them, including shipping, which is pretty good. So that's probably about, I don't know, $120 maybe for the two of them, but very cheap. And like I say, you can get them custom made in any colour, any piping and any design that you want. So thanks again for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, comment below if you've got anything to say about these two installs, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.